Board of Selectmen regular meeting, July 7th, 2025, 6:30 p.m. in person and on Zoom. You starting by asking you to join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Hey, approval of minutes. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of June 16th?
There's two.
Yeah, let's do them one at a time. June 16th. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Any discussion? I'll give you a minute to take a look at it.
Not anyone should say.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes of June 25th? That was held in.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of June 25th, 2025, special meeting minutes.
This meeting, do I have a second?
I'll say.
This was primarily to call the town meeting for. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Present to speak, public participation is encouraged. Speakers are limited by appropriateness, staying on topic and maintaining the tone. Time may be limited to maintain progress. Please request to reserve time during the meeting if you wish to speak to a specific agenda item. Is there anybody in the room that wishes to speak? Everybody online that wishes to speak? No hands. We will move along to correspondence, of which we have none. The state police haven't submitted a report. Oh, let's. I move that we add two items. First to new business, section C, an agenda item concerning the bid for the cleaning contract, and D, the assistant revenue collector hiring committee, and under 11 old business A, debt policy and tax stabilization update. Discussion? Hearing none. We're gonna call it. Thanks. All together. Hearing no further discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Yeah, we could have separated one out of discussion. Public Works. Correspondence, there is none. Public Works, State Police, they didn't send us a report. Their new reporting is horrendous. And tells you absolutely nothing. So the fact that it hasn't come in, it's not upsetting. Department of Public Works, they've been on the roadside so that our sight lines are better, and they've been doing a terrific job as far as my end. Also had to drive around a lot on Saturday looking at that Thursday wind damage.
What, how much did that involve then?
The wind damage?
Yeah, how much?
They were out most of the day and Saturday, I believe. I lost count of the number of trees in the wires with fire, and that didn't count the trees not in the wire. Grass roads was completely cut off, but there was no wires involved, so that took a long time. I think they finished cleaning that up today.
Village Hill took a pounding.
Village Hill took a pounding. Yes, yes, yeah, 66 something Hill Road. They went and checked that it's not a town tree, it's more than 10 feet off the road, so it's not, you can't do anything about it if we want to. I believe Troy was getting in touch with the homeowners, however, to discuss it. Adding an editorial note here, given the number of trees that came down, I think we may regret having frozen the tree budget at what it was instead of increasing. They patched the holes in the town office building drainage. They repaired and cleaned the gutters at the town office building. They fixed multiple stop signs that were hit or stolen. They installed a new scoreboard at the softball field behind the town office building. I believe it's electric. We don't have that big 37-foot video. That wasn't in the budget either. They patched potholes, installed new drainage and catch basins at Center School. They did vehicle maintenance and repairs. They mowed the retention ponds, cleaned the catch basins, and cleared trees and chip brush from the storm July 3rd, and they're continuing to do that through today. I'm hoping that they're getting close to finish. Special thanks go out to both fire departments for their during the storm, monitoring it on the radio, and I couldn't keep up with the monitor. You know they're bad when they have wires down with fire, but I had to take it off and go to the next one. Really, the TN kicked them off the frequency to go to the different frequency because they were so busy. Tax refunds. Let's see if we can get through these. Move that we refund the amount of $469.40 be made to BW Credit Leasing Limited. Because the tax code is sorry that there's an issue with the sound. We will try to get IT on it as soon as possible. We don't have a
it says it's using the owl, so it should be. Okay, so I'm not sure.
Somebody writes in the comments whether they can hear us any better.
Just check. She said no a second ago. So.
All right, we just made a change. See, that makes it. We apologize. We will have to get it the first time. Oh, I just found it. It's in for refund of excessive payments. Do I hear a second? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Like 3 different forms. I finally figured out which form this one was. I move that we refund the amount of $256.28 to BW Credit Leasing for a refund of excessive payments. Do I hear a second? Who's that? Oh, that's BW. Yeah. I'll correct it. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. will be the amount of $38.69 to James T. Reynolds and Crystal L. Reynolds of 22 Blair Road for a refund of excessive payments.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? It's 7, correct?
Correct.
7. Status report. There's a referendum on the pre-K 8 education budget tomorrow. In-person voting from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. We like to see a good voter turnout for that. The Board of Selectmen met this afternoon at 1 o'clock with the Board of Selectmen from the town of Ashford to discuss the Cato Rock / wagon shed property. There was some serious brownfield issues there, which the EPA has cleaned up at a cost of $4.something million. I don't have my sheet with me.
394 million.
And then the DEP is enforcing it for another $282,000. So you add $250,000 to the 4.25. There's a lot of money over on the property. The town of Ashford has asked us to support them in applying for a $200,000 grant. Planning, engineering, legal, etc., marketing, and because the two towns are working together, we have a far greater chance of getting it. There's a $20,000 copay they've asked us to split it with us. I believe we have some money in this year's budget to do that. So after speaking with the business office, so we've voted to, we as a board voted to engage in that. Part of that is to see if the EPA will forgive our $4.something million, so we don't have to come up with it. I think $10,000 to leave a $4 million deficit is probably a good investment. I'm not.
And then just to add, what's the goal of it? To make it marketable, to sell the property?
You have to have a
Cover the money.
you have to have a plan, which includes engineering, marking out the wetlands, marketing for future use. You gotta have all that in line before you can ask the EPA to
Yes, the lien.
release the lien. So we're doing the steps we need to do to get there, and we don't have $200,000. We're gonna go with 10. This has been going on a long time, at least 10 years. So. Yes. So we were all given a history lesson in what happened up till now.
Pete, if it helps, I believe I was fire chief in Williamsonville when the EPA contractor was doing the remediation.
Yeah.
Which was around 2003 or something like that. So that's 20 plus years ago, and then the discovery of the contamination was like 20 years previous to that.
Yes.
So this is decades.
Yes, and I believe that there's still some cleanup to do, but the cleanup is very minor. They think that it might be what the EPA spilled when they were taking out the original contaminated material. So
I saw the word Superfund, which I haven't seen since the 1960s.
yes, so that was that. Under new business, I have received a letter from Tom, who was our deputy fire marshal. He was our fire marshal for many years. He he served it for over 30 years with the town. And I would like to sincerely thank him for his service. He was planning on resigning September of this year. September of this year doesn't align with the budget year. So he had my request, he resigned a couple months early, effective June 30th. So we need a new deputy fire marshal. I would like to nominate Mike, who has not only expressed interest in the position, but has a tremendous amount of fire marshal experience, both with the University of Connecticut and the town of Glasgow. Fire marshal. I think that he'd be an asset for the town. We're also trying to figure out the fire marshal's office and how to restructure it to make sure that our citizens very timely stuff, and I think that might being involved would help that out. Good. We're also trying to figure out emails and that kind of stuff. So I'll second the motion. Very good. Any further discussion? No. Anything you'd like to add, Mike?
As you said, it's been a long conversation. When Dick Palmer was the fire marshal, and before he stepped down and Trevor became, he and I had this discussion even back then before I retired from you. And it just, one timing or another timing, the deputy ran out of time at a time that, it just never really. As you said, and the full-time fire marshal in Glastonbury, it gives me a lot of experience, and especially with connections in the Capital Region State Fire Marshal's Office. If I can put those to use to help Willington, it's great. We have a big office with a lot of throughput, about 3,000 inspections a year, and so if there's anything I can do to help Willington, I'm there 7.5 hours a day. 16. Trevor and I get along very well. We learn things from each other already, and so if I can support him, because he works in Willington and in another town as well. Yeah. And I've been a fire marshal for 20 years this year, and I'm halfway through my current recertification, and I've been a certified building inspector since 2011, and I just finished that 3-year recertification. So am I continuing the other hours up to date?
No conflict.
No, you can't do both at the same moment in the day.
Exactly.
So, my support to Trevor would be nights, weekends, things like that.
A unique enough skill set that they kind of have to be forgiving of that, I would think. But,
well, yeah,
municipality.
It's a business where networking is really critical. There could be any day that I might call Trevor because I'm trying to solve a problem in Glastonbury. He may know, like that may be something he's already figured out, and he may know how to do it, and it would have nothing to do with me being appointed.
Right. No, that's good.
I talked to other fire marshals.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Volunteering.
It's not completely voluntary. There's a incredibly small stipend.
Thank you for volunteering. No, apparently not.
So, did we vote on that yet?
We did not.
All in favor? I will sign the appropriate paperwork. You will have to go see as with every other job. Understood. Next up, we have land use application fee amendments from planning and zoning.
I am.
I would like you to speak to this because I just saw this and I've been confused.
I mentioned it some time ago that this was happening. Planning and zoning had a rather bit of complex fee schedule. And there were some of it was like $25 for food. These sort of odd that didn't really seem relative to the work ethic And then, one of the ones that was based on the number of acres of a sliding scale, which was not really proportional to the work. You know, subdivision, the office work for a large subdivision is exponentially greater than for a small subdivision. So we tried to align that to where, and the overarching goal was to make sure the town it wasn't costing money for an application. So we were charging, might get it wrong, just because I don't remember, I don't have the old fees in front of me. I think we were charging $175 subdivision. The notifications cost like $350. And if you had to do it again, you have to notify more butter and certified mail. So the new cost, there'll be it's a fixed application fee, so subdivision app, the base fee will be $350 with an inspection fee of $50. And there's automatically $60 that has to go to the state for every one of these notifications. So it's not a profit center, it's simply to cover the costs of doing business. And for a special permit is $370. Special permits are for businesses that are entering a store that requires special permit. Site plan reviews are $175. Regulation changes are $370. Application zone map reviews are $370. Again, these are all mostly to cover the cost of the public notices and the public hearings involved for all of those applications. And so this, I think we boiled it down to about 3 pages. Now it'll be more clear to people and easier to understand. Yeah, you know, right. And I have that was the point. These have to go through notification to the Board of Selectmen, so I don't think this has been actually put into the regulations yet, because these are.
Do we need a motion here to,
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
I think we need a motion to
I think
adopt.
we need to adopt.
Maybe make a motion to that.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to, it'll be under, regulation 231-3, fee schedule for fixed application fees. I'll enter this into the record. Or actually, you have it there.
I have it.
That was our working cut.
All right.
And certainly any questions on behalf of the public could be directed to the land use office.
Second. You seconded? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? In line is the cleaning bids. The contract for cleaning this building expired June 30th of this year. We put out and advertised for new cleaning bids. We received 3. 2 of them were very similar. In fact, I think they're the exact same amount. One from a new company, one from the company that just expired, and one from third company. So it's any spade service, Willing Valley, can't see the whole thing. McCauley Home Services and H&S Carpet and Janitorial Services. Both the first 2 were at about $320. They're about $320 for 2 times a week, $420 for 3 times a week. We were at 2 times a week. Is that correct?
Yeah, we stayed at 2 times a week.
We're staying at decided to stay at 2 times a week.
So the first and the third.
Yeah,
Right.
mostly due to the budget. And then the one of the big one. This is the one that so instead of 420, it was $16,000 per month. Really? Yes. So why distribute? Yes, that's why we took them out of the running.
The real bid, $16,000
a month to clean this building. We did not go.
Sounds like they didn't really want the job.
I think they really did want.
They really did, I think she was like a corporate, like a business, as opposed to more like residential.
So it was 320.
$320 a week for 2 times.
And that includes the Old Town Hall at Road.
Yes, so. After having gone through these bids, I think we're recommending Jenny's maid service.
Where are they from?
Something
Something local, that's in the top.
Where's the other one? The second one. It's out of chat.
That's the one.
That's the one we currently had. Had some minor.
Okay.
We decided to try something.
Yeah.
So I move that we accept the bid from Jenny's maid service. Later, second. I'll second. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
That's what we're paying.
16,000 a year.
No. We're not going with 16,000 a month.
No, but I mean, but it's a year.
Yeah.
That's what we're paying, it's the same as what we're paying. It's
Yeah.
$650 a month. But that includes the town hall, this building, and public works.
Okay, all right, so, public buildings, yeah, school buildings.
Except.
Okay, all right, I guess that's fair. Well, I hope they do a heck of a job.
I hope they do a heck of a job too.
Do you say yes? Do you vote yes?
I did.
Okay.
I didn't think so.
I didn't hear you say that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did say aye. I was mumbling.
Okay.
The next item is
Just that people are saying they can't hear anything. I know.
it's an IT problem. We can't
There's
fix
nothing
it.
we can
We're
do.
gonna have to have somebody come and take a look at it.
On the phone too.
Yes, yeah. We understand that there's an audio problem. We can either continue with the audio problem or continue without audio or visual, and I think that this might be. And we will attempt to get it fixed tomorrow.
I will put a ticket in first.
Yes. We need to hire a new assistant revenue collector. We need to put together a hiring committee. I would like to nominate, I'd like to suggest that we have Ashley, our current tax collector, Nicole, the town clerk, and, if you would be so inclined, Andy.
Yes. Myself available.
There we go. I like hiring boards of 3. But then you're not frozen with indecision at the end, so. Any discussion on that? All right, so.
Are you interested? I know that you.
You're I'm part of it, or? I'm going to approve them next. Okay.
I want to make sure there's no.
His turn is coming up in like 2 weeks. We haven't had. I'm gonna spring it on you at the last moment. We need to hire an assistant director. But we're gonna let her get through summer camp first. Right now, she is deep underwater and not in the building, so we will wait till she returns to the building to get it together for that.
Anything we can do to help her?
I don't know.
I did ask.
Let her know.
She knew.
I think if you're a lifeguard, that would be helpful.
I don't know.
Neither am I, not for 50 years.
Let him drown. Put in that.
Coming to old business. Debt policy and tax stabilization updates.
The lawyers, tax stabilization ordinance, and debt policy. Regarding debt policy, we went over all the language and everything, forwarded that to you guys. They made some minor changes having to do with wording, clarity, and few things having to do with timing. But there weren't many substantial changes. So that'll be ready for us to consider, that the board actually.
All right. I think that,
Sure.
right, oh yeah, absolutely. I think that what we should do is we should have a motion to accept it, and then then move it to the Board of Finance, because they're the ones that are gonna have to implement it. I haven't had the time to view it, so what I'd like to do is put off till the next, table it till the next, Board of Selectmen meeting, so that I can delve into it some more.
Right, and having to do with the tax stabilization, they're still working on the wording for that, it's not ready for us to review. So we'll wait to hear back from them, it's 10 days, so that'll be about next week, we'll be providing update, for us to look at.
A question on the debt policy, I don't remember the answer. That this could help us when it comes to bonding. Or was it, when the person was here, did they specifically speak to that having a debt policy?
Yeah, it does three things. First of all, it helps us in the town.
Right.
Manage this process.
Yeah.
Second thing it does is for the credit agencies and
That's
the bond councils and all those guys, they can now look at it and go, oh, they actually have a policy. If they follow, okay, I feel more comfortable. And the third thing it does is it provides guardrails for this board and for the Board of Finance, in terms of what we're gonna be looking at here. Levels, terms, things like that.
But it wasn't worded in such a way, if I remember right, that it created impediments.
No.
That they're really just guidelines that get it structured, so, yes. Thank you. I just make sure I was remembering it correctly, and I know we're gonna talk about it in more detail.
I have one thing that I forgot under, selectmen report, and that is that I did meet with Pauline Yoder, the Chief Operating Officer of CROG, Bill Morrison from Stafford, and Brian. No. From Holland. Thank you. Also, that's he's a town manager. Used to be on Channel 3.
It used to be state police folks.
Yes, and before that, he was deputy chief of park for the city. Yeah. But that's a ways out, so what we're doing right now is we're looking to regionalize animal control officers. It'll have a large savings in vehicles, radios, overtime, personnel, and it'll bring the whole region under one. It'll be run out of Stafford. I think our current ACO will be in charge of all the ACOs. It'll give us better time coverage, a lot of other things. All the details have to be kept on. Probably won't be until after. Memorandum of understanding from Rob saying that we are interested in this, so they can go forward on the RPIP grant. The RPIP is a regional performance incentive program. If you regionalize, the state will pay 75% of all your personnel costs the first year, 50% the second year and 25% the third year to incentivize you to regionalize and get up and going. And for the cost of, because of the standards they're putting into animal control facilities. You have to have separate cat facilities, you have to have air conditioning, you have to have drums that are bigger than ours currently are, you have to have waste control, you have to have disease control, on and on. Makes a lot of sense to me to regionalize animal control. Did it for the number of hours that having every town have their own ACO becomes more and more burdensome. And I think this is one area in which regionalization will make a big difference. So that's coming up. Good and welfare. Do we have anything for good and welfare? I thought I had something. Give me a sec. Veterans Day is coming up if you're a Korean War vet. No, the Korean Vietnam War vet. The Korean War thing is a different thing. The lieutenant governor is putting together a multi-town recognition for Korean War vets in Holland, coming up in a couple of months. And I'm hoping that I was supposed to receive an email from the general in charge of all this stuff statewide, and I haven't yet. And I'm hoping that Phil Monty can help me out with that. So we'll see if we can get that done. Come back to present to speak, same outline as prior. We understand that you can't hear us, so we don't need to hear that part from you all. Anybody have anything that they'd like to say? Stephanie?
I just wanted to say a couple things about the minutes, from the 25th. To clarify, because, it says in the minutes that, and I think it's attributed to, Selectman Clark, that on the BOF, the Republicans on the BOE Republicans on the BOF made motions to increase the BOE budget by 1%, 1.5, and 1.7%. And all of the motions were rejected. First of all, those motions were not, I think it was reported by the chair, but those motions weren't made in those amounts. I think that was an overall budget amount that they were looking at, 1% for the overall budget, not just the BOE budget.
I understood it to be just the BOE budget when I was at the meeting.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay. I think Christina was gonna say something, but she's having that audio problem with you guys tonight, so we can report on that in the future.
Okay.
I will say that at the bottom where it says there was some discussion, and it refers to me, myself, and Christina by name. It was not about a discrepancy in the amount of the current budget and the second bail budget. It was about the amount of overall taxation. Matt said it was 3.5% when it was down to 2.4% in the third referendum, and 3.5 is from the second referendum. So that was what it was. It wasn't about the amount of the budget. Thanks.
Got nothing else, so do I hear a motion to adjourn? Make a motion. A second. All those in favor? Thank you very much, gentlemen.